Hey, good afternoon. I am again super thrilled to be meeting cool people. Like, this is just awesome. I want one of those backgrounds because I love cool people. And Eli, I have to say, I am so grateful that we have connected. I met you a number of years ago at a branding event. And I have to say, out of all the speakers, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy knows how to make my life easier, help me make more money and have more time. He's somebody that I want to know. And it was just such divine timing when you reached out and we were able to connect. And I am so grateful to be doing this interview today, but I am even more grateful that we get to spend 2 days with you at the 7th Media Magic Sales and Marketing Intensive coming up next week, because you are the king of automation, the people whisperer. And so thank you for being here. Those of you that have been following the interview series, I want you to meet who's going to be here, but I want you that everybody's given you a little tip or a little tool. And for those participants that are going, Eli did a tally of all of the giveaways. I know you're giving away an awesome gift to the attendees. We have over $2,500 in bonuses just from all of you guys giving some cool stuff away.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun stuff. And I want to say thank you for letting me come and play, because to be perfectly honest, this is what I love doing. I mean, when you and I met, it was at an event in Miami, and it just seems like, forever ago at this point, because, the world's been shut down for so long, and now we're finally getting back to be in person. So it was kind of cool that we reconnected, and it was perfect timing to your event coming up. And I was like, yeah, of course, if I can have a chance to come play, definitely I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I'm really, really grateful. So I just wanted to highlight you first, just so that people can hear a little bit about you. So Eli is your automated system strategist. He's also known as the people whisperer. He is the creator of the follow-up rockstar system, teaching entrepreneurs how to go from surviving to thriving in any economy through the art and science of building strong relationships and follow-up for life. I love this, Eli. I'm sorry, I'm just going to interject here. It's like we hear that follow up is so important, but to be able to still build relationships and have automation, and I've seen some of your tools, it's just really exciting. He's an Amazon bestseller with his two books, Marketing Tidbits and Networking Tidbits. I love that. That's kind of like a chicken soup for the soul series, Tidbits. Yep. With a passion for connecting people, his best-selling training course, Networking Like a Rockstar, has over 1,373 students registered globally. Eli speaks, authors, and coaches automate those follow-up to grow their businesses without having to have an MBA from MIT. I love it. He's the guy who will help you build a 24/7 automated system and turn you into a follow-up rock star. And we all know that when you follow up, that's what turns into cash flow. So tell us what made you passionate about this piece in your business, because usually there's some interesting story, and it could be as simple as
so I mean, it's just been a long time coming. So my first company was a web and graphic design agency that was almost 30 years ago, which is scary to think how long ago that was. And I grew that business from just working out of my dining room by myself to opening up an office. I had 5 employees, and we're closing 3 to 5 contracts every single week, all in a local area. And it was through networking. I wasn't doing any of the stuff that, I wasn't doing any kind of advertising or any of that kind of stuff. I was literally just networking in my local area. And it became, who did I meet? How do I make a connection? And this was back in the day when we didn't have all the cool tools that we have today. And I grew that business using just my networking skills. But then I got to the point where I got bigger, and we started getting past just our local market. And I'm like, okay, we need to do something more. And then technology started catching up to the point where we had some tools. They were very clunky and they weren't really there to remember what happens. Because if you're a networker like me, I would go to an event, and let's say I go to an event and I meet 50 people, because there might be 200 there. I might meet 50 people, but I'm only going to follow up with 5 or 10 because I can only remember that much, which is not enough. It's like, what do we do with the other 40? And when I started becoming a speaker, I'm speaking, I'm having a lot of fun, and maybe we have 100 people in the room, and maybe I get 10 people that right out of the gate are like, yeah, Ely, this is awesome. I need your stuff. Here's my credit card. Let's go. My brain immediately went to, what about the other 90? And so I started building these systems for myself to help me stay in touch with people, because I'm human. I will drop the ball. I will forget. But you mentioned this. It's the fortune is in the follow-up. We know that. The reality is most people are not going to buy the first time they meet you. Doesn't matter what the reason is. Maybe they don't trust you yet. Maybe there's not the right place at the right time. Maybe they don't have the money today. It doesn't really matter what the reason is, but most of them are not going to buy today. But some of them will buy tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, or I've even got people come back to me a decade later and become clients of mine. And it's because of that follow-up process, but you can't do it all manually. It's not possible. We are human beings. We can only do so much. There's only so many hours in the day. And we all have these tools like our CRM systems and our email management systems and our automated webinar software and all the gizmos and the gadgets and the stuff. But most people are not utilizing them anywhere near what they really should be. And that's where what I do and what I have fun with is we build those systems, and it's kind of like putting the bits and pieces together it's like a Lego. It's really what it is. It's like, you get a box of Legos or a bag of Legos. It's like, how do you fit the pieces together to build something really cool? That's kind of where I got into all this stuff.
That's awesome. Well, what I love that you just shared, that I want to make sure people know about you is there's the one piece with the automation, but if you automate words that are not convertible, meaning not a convertible car, but like are going to get people to take action and convert, you could have all the automation in the world and it may not get the results you want. But when you, Ely, what I love about you is that you have this gift of really articulating words and looking at that holistic sequence of, we're automating these pieces, but how do we build those relationships and how do we eventually move them into a client and even beyond that, a raving fan?
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that, because that means a lot to me, because the simple fact that is where a lot of people will actually, when I start talking about automation, they start getting really twitchy. They're like, oh, but then I'll take the relationship, I'll take the human touch out of it. And people don't want to talk to a robot. We're not building a robot to pull you out of the system so you don't do anything. This isn't sit on the beach, drinking your Mai Tais with your laptop and never talking to ever customers. Reality is, what I like to teach people to do and how my clients work, and this is what I help them with, is number one, putting processes in place to map out what the client journey looks like from the very first communication, first time you ever had touch base with that person, and have consistent steps across the way, many of which can be automated, which causes people to react, maybe replying to an email. Now that email may have been automated, but when they like what you wrote, which is very important, and they click reply because you ask them to, you want to actually have a real conversation. What happens is when they hit that reply button, you've turned from a monologue to a dialogue, which is a real conversation, which builds a real relationship, which that's what you shouldn't be automated. That's the part you should be doing yourself so you can build the relationships, because that can't be outsourced. And so we use the tools and technology, the automation side, to kind of put the fire under things, get the Kindle going. But then the real relationship is when you actually have a real conversation.
Yeah. So can you share one of your automation secrets with us, or a tool, or?
Oh, where do I even start?
There's probably so many. Sorry.
So there's so many different things we can do. I'm gonna go back to even not even automation, but it is automation. Okay, so it is automation. It's a much more simplified version and something everybody watching can do this like right away. Okay, like as soon as we're done, you can go do this, which is think of the people that you have met, the people that they might be on your list. They may be people you've met networking, whether it be virtual or face-to-face, that you haven't talked to in at least 30 days. Write an email, and here's what it's going to say. The first subject line is, I'm a slacker. Okay. You're going to have fun with this. Okay. The subject line is, I'm a slacker. Hey, Bob, Joan, whatever their name is. I have not stayed in touch with you the way I really should. And I apologize for that. I promise to do better. And I would love to hear, what are you doing and what's going on in your world? What have you been up to? Is there anything I could maybe help you with? Sign your name. Okay.
Wow.
Now, send that out as an email. Now, when we talk about automation, automation isn't just a service that does everything automated. Automation is, I just gave you a script. You write it once and you send it to 200 people. That's a version of automation.
Yeah, where it can have their name and it can look totally.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, here's the fun thing about this, by the way. If you do this, and you should do this, connect with me, find me in all the social places, I'm easy to find, and tell me what happens. Okay. I literally had a client do this. We actually had a whole campaign design. We had 3 or 4 emails, I don't even remember now, that was designed for like some follow-ups, just in case, after the first one. She sent out the first email. Literally the next morning, she emails me and says, hey, like, we need to stop the entire campaign. I'm like, what's going on? What's wrong? She replies back, everybody responded. I'm like, what do you mean everybody responded? She goes, everybody responded. My calendar's booked for the next month. By the end of the week, she did over $12,000 in sales with an email very similar to that, which I don't know if you noticed, wasn't selling anything. Okay. This is one simple little thing that you can do today that will leverage technology, because you're not going to manually send this to every single person. You can use your system, your CRM system, to do this. Send it out, and then you let people reply back, and you respond to the people that replied back. Now you're having a conversation with them. Conversations lead to sales. And that's where you start the boat. That's where things get going. And that's where things get really fun. I had another client did exactly the same thing. I gave him this script. He sent it at 8 a.m. Eastern time, by 8 a.m. West Coast time, which is where I'm at. He emails me and says, Eli, I cannot believe this. I mailed this at 8 this morning, which by now was 11 for him. And he's like, I've already got 20 people responded to it in just a couple of hours. By the end of the week, he had created and launched a new monthly $500 a month coaching program that didn't exist when he started. Same script I just gave you, slight variation, but same basic script.
Yeah.
This is just, this is literally the tip of the iceberg, but little things like this. And you mentioned something earlier about how you get the relationship with it and how you keep the personality in it. And to me, that's really important. We have to build the relationship. We have to build the personality. It's not a robot. First and foremost, don't have a newsletter. Nobody wants a newsletter. Nobody reads a newsletter. The only people that can get away with newsletters are people like Apple, Best Buy, and Amazon, where literally their entire purpose is, we have something cheap for sale, come buy it. The rest of us, we got to actually let people know we care about them. And so an email that's a newsletter, is a whole bunch of stuff that people really don't have time to read anyway, probably won't get a whole lot of traction. But if you send an email that says, hey there, I read this book. I thought it was really awesome. So I keep this book like right here because I talk about this all the time. If you haven't read this yet, The Go-Giver by Bob Burg, it's one of my favorite books. Bob should give me affiliate commissions for all the books of his that I sell, because I talk about this all the time.
Royalties.
Royalties, yeah. Because I say, I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to tell you, this is one of my favorite books. I love it because I live the possibility of giving first. And that has been my way of doing business for almost 30 years now. When I read this book, I was like, wow, this is awesome, because I feel like I'm doing something right because it's in the book and I've been doing it already. I recommend this book to everybody. Now, if I say, write an email that says, hey, this is a great book, I think you should read it. This is why I like it. Here's a link to Amazon. It's a quick read. It'll only take you a couple hours. Read it over the next weekend and let me know what you thought of it. Do you think that that's going to get more action and responses than a newsletter?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not a pitch. It's a, here's a cool resource. Check it out and let me know what you think, which goes back to the key phrase, start a dialogue. And that is the magic that makes this stuff so freaking powerful, because automation is such an amazing tool. It lets us talk to, instead of one-on-one, one to many, could be literally, you know, one person, 10 people, 50 people, 5,000 people, or 500,000 people using the same amount of time. And the people that are really interested and it resonates with will raise their hand to come back and say, let's talk. And those are the people that you want to work with anyway. So is that helpful?
Oh my gosh. I'm like, I need to let my team listen to this. This is so great. So yes, Eli. So I just wanted to let people know how they can play with you at Media Magic. You are coming in as a mentor, and I have to say, you know, whether you come as a general admission registration or a VIP, people have the opportunity to get one-on-one with you and have that have you review what they're creating, what they're working on, what they're building. And if you are a VIP or an elite, you can actually have a meal with Eli. We're doing this virtually. So if you're like, how are we going to do a meal? But we do our virtual mastermind lunches. And so what's beautiful is not only do you get Eli to support and give you direct feedback and insight, and I've just heard it today. Imagine having him tweak just some of the things that you say or give you input that turns on that faucet. All I kept hearing was cha-ching, cha-ching. I mean, Eli, as you're talking, I'm just like cha-ching, cha-ching.
Let's see. I got my magic button here. Check this out.
You do?
Now I got my green screen, so it's going to come up purple instead of green because, you know, green screen. But yeah, it's my ka-ching button.
So you're available to do that. And I know that he will also be, at the end of the day, we're doing the hot seat. So this is where individuals, again, the VIP and elite, we've got a couple of activities for them because, you know, obviously they're investing more time, resources, money. We want to make sure that you get that support. So if you haven't already and you're joining us, consider selecting him for one of the meal tables. You will absolutely be, you know, you'll be like, sorry guys, but this is one of the best tables. And
I love that. I love hearing that.
Also at all of the VIPs and elites, you get strategy sessions after the event. So you can pick, hey, I want to meet with Eli for 30 minutes after the event. So once you've gone through this process of crafting your press kit, you know, writing your power bio, those pieces, you'll be able to work, you know, you can pick Eli to work with directly. But Eli, if somebody wanted to, you know, they don't want to wait till Media Magic, how would somebody connect with you?
I mean, first and foremost, as it says above my head, I love meeting cool people. So let's connect. You can connect with me, any of social media sites and everything, but actually the easiest way, go to connectwithely.com. And it's ELY, by the way, connectwithely, ELY.com. Go there. All of my social media sites are there, my hub, all the kind of anything you need to know to find out about me is right in one spot, because it's basically go there and then you can find out everything else. And do please connect with me, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. Be sure, here's another little trick. Don't just hit the friend request button. Send a message and say, hey, I just heard you on the stream with Shannon. I would love to connect with you. If there's something that stood out that I said, please tell me about it, because I love hearing that kind of stuff. Send a message. And by the way, when you do this, don't do this just with me. Do this with everybody. Because I know for me personally, when I go to connect with people, I mean, my Facebook, I have like 10 friend requests a day. The people who get accepted are the people who send me a message. The other ones eventually will get it. But if you send me a message right now that says, hey, I love this, I want to connect with you, thanks for doing this, I heard you talking to Shannon, boom, you're going to go to the top of the list. That works for everybody, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Eli, so much for coming and playing with us. I am really excited. We already got to talk about next year and having you as a keynote.
All right, I'm game.
Awesome. Well, and I just thought of an idea of something else for Media Magic. So I'm going to ask you to stay on for a few more moments afterwards if you have time to share another wonderful way to support our guests. I just looked at your Connect with Ely, and you're also giving away a copy of your follow-up blueprint. Is that okay that I'm sharing that?
Yeah, go for
So
it.
they can grab that
Yeah.
there also.
I
So
got
with
all
that,
kinds.
Eli,
I got all kinds of goodies. I love giving stuff away. It's fun.
it's like go giver.
Yeah.
Any final remarks for our viewers?
Don't be afraid of technology. And remember, this is a phrase, and I can't claim this quote because I did not come up with it, and I wish I could remember where I heard it. But it's not about the technology; it's about the psychology. It's utilize those tools that you have to build a better relationship. It's not there to, remove you from everything. It's to give you the time to do the things you should be doing, which is the relationship building. It's that one-on-one. It's doing stuff like this where we can have cool conversations, and of course meeting cool people. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Go to MediaMagicBootcamp.com. You can see our full agenda. You can read more about Ely's bio and all of our other incredible mentors that are coming. Thank you, Ely. I'm really excited to play with you next week.
It's my pleasure. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes, we are. All right. Bye for now.